What's going on, yo? It's Jason Reviews here, back at it again with another video. This time, very RBE centric video, going over blood, sweat, and tears. Some of my thoughts of the most impressive showings from the bricks, from the 3 battles that have dropped from the Blood, Sweat, and Tears card, as well as going over my predictions for Closure 2 happening this weekend. Pretty dope card. Some matchups I like, some matchups I don't. So it's, a little 2-for-1 here, but we're going to start out with my opinions on the bricks real quick, and then we'll move directly into classic, predictions for RB's biggest card of the year up to this point. So as for the bricks, first performance that I want to talk about is Caution versus Bonnie. That was the first battle that came out, and I definitely liked it. Obviously, both ladies also had the tournament, the Chrome 23 tournament, literally the next day. So then I think that both of them gave their better performance. Actually, I disagree. Even though I think Bonnie was solid in both performances, I actually liked her K-Profit performance a little more, as I think Caution actually gave RB her better performance, which would make sense. Obviously, she's a brick, and I don't think that I don't want to accuse her of, divvying it up, she didn't give effort here. They both won their tournament battle. They both had a very good battle on the RBE card. But I love Bonnie as much as obviously I'm critical on this channel, but the more and more it goes on, this dry humor into the witty punching like this, I don't know, something about that monotone delivery is actually really unique, and in a sport where that really shouldn't work, just for Bonnie it seems unique, and it's kind of given her this second, I want to say this second win. Obviously Bonnie's done a lot in the sport, but this second win to this point where this is a series, I think Bonnie's looked at as a talent in a very, very, very long time, and I really, really like Caution. Very impressed with her, and her third round reminds me of her third round versus Chirac and Attorney. When she gets into the detailed gun talk, the real detailed, listing them out and doing an angle based off them, that's really where she thrives. I don't want to call it a special move because I've just seen 2 angles of her doing it, but obviously, the girl knows her guns, and she's able to put on, an incredible third in this battle too, my favorite round of the battle. As for the first 2, very, very debatable battle. I think it's a great look for both. Me, personally, I edged Bonnie the first round, and I gave Bonnie the second round. Caution was very good. I think that in some of her brick flips, talking about the bricks and layered bricks, she got a little bit OD with those. The whole concept, slapping on ARP. There was some good, but I think there was a few misses in there. That's part of being a young talent, though, the fine-tuning. So I edged Bonnie the first 2 rounds of the battle, but I see absolutely no problem with someone giving Caution the battle. And as I said, her third might be my favorite round from all the bricks. From there, we move into Jay Breed versus Show Off. Not as much to say here. Shout out on Show Off, giving his 6 clean rounds that night. I had Jay Breed taking this battle in the second and the third. And the main thing I want to talk about, he won the third. Not as impressively as the second, but he did win the third. And I think his first was cool. I gave Show Off the first, more of a real talk approach. Showed some of the vet seasoning that he may have had over him. But that second, man, the football, he became conditioned to so much film. The judge gave him a football number. That whole setup was crazy, and Jay Breed's whole second is crazy. Clip jam, looked like I'm playing Bop It. All types of haymakers. Really, really, really good second round. I think that his style is a little bit defaultish. I want to see a little more uniqueness in the delivery, but in terms of the writing and the grit, he definitely has it, the believability. Really like what Jay Breed brought, and had him beating Show Off in one of Show Off's 2 battles. And the last battle I want to talk about here is Payne versus Big Cannon. Payne showed out. Cannon obviously had a good second round, but clearly lack of memory or hurt him. He choked in the first. He's a freestyler that choked. That doesn't even make that much sense. But obviously had some prep issues here while Payne took full advantage of the opportunity. His first is by far his best round of the battle. The second is close, but the lack of cleanliness from Cannon, it makes me kind of have to edge it to Payne. And as for the third, I think Payne definitely cleaned up. But in the first round, he get a hard sock like searching a teenage son's room. A couple other real talk bars in there. Really a haymaker filled first. So Caution's third versus Bonnie, Jay Breed second versus Show Off, and Payne's first versus Big Cannon. All rounds that are showing that the bricks are looking like some real good competition. Want to see where they develop from here. But great debatables and great wins and good showing from the new class over at RBE. And with all that being said, we can now go into the predictions for the Closure 2 card. So first battle to talk about here on Closure 2 is Ines versus Quiddy. I don't like this battle. Be honest, I don't like this battle. A lot of people are a little bit taken aback by this battle. I will say I think that Ines has had a much better one of his better years really in battle rap in a funny way. I had him beating Mac Myron. I know he got another big win early in the year. Was it Cicero? He beat somebody in one of the straight two-hits. I believe it was Cicero. Like the Mac Minor win is big, and overall, I just think he's had good content. I think he's leaned more into he's always had the flow pockets, but content was a humongous problem for Enes for a while. And I think kind of the old head talk, a little bit of like more real talk, but more like substance-filled real talk. I don't know how to say it, but he found the way that to make his material, which was coming off as filler, real. Even if he was being real in that to himself, he's found a way to better articulate, the real talk, and kind of like land punches or something to go, just bars that people can actually react to, not just the pure rapping, because listening and pure rapping is a great thing, but in battle rap, we want to hear content that attacks your opponent, and I think he's been attacking up his opponent a lot better lately. Gwitty is Gwitty. Gwitty kind of writes okay-ish stuff sometimes, but obviously I know Gwitty for being the hype man, and unless he shocks me here with something, this is Gwitty. Decent versus Remedy Loco this year, but even then he had a horrible pause moment in that battle. Just a strange matchup, but both have been on the platform, so both of them getting a look. ARP feeding his guys who have been loyal. Can't be too mad at that. But I have Enes 2-1, probably 3-0, but we'll go with 2-1 in a I suppose battle. Secondly, we'll go over Show Off versus Jag. Last time Jag was up here, Jag died. It was not good for Jag. Ran off on battle rap. Obviously, the Arsenal situation falling out with ARP. I thought that he was just done with battle rap altogether. But he's back versus Show Off, who I did have losing to Jay Breed, but that's even somewhat of a debatable battle. I believe it's pretty close. Like not a full-on clearing or some terrible loss for Show Off, and he battled someone else that night, so who knows, maybe if he fully applied his writing, would have beat Jay Breed. But in this battle, have him beating Jag, although his last showing was pulverized in terms of big stages on RBE. I just think that he is more seasoned. I don't really believe in Jag like a battle rapper like that. Even some of his good showings, I think he did good versus Math, had some showings that were crazy, some little pockets in there. And outside of that, even if a battle's been close, like him and O-Red, I thought that battle was terrible. I didn't enjoy that battle, and then we know what happened with Ill Will, blase. So I have Show Off winning this battle 3-0, I want to say. I don't want to say, yeah, I got a 3-0. I do think that Jag has little clips of real talk that are kind of good, but he just doesn't put it enough in a battle rap sense in front of a crowd. I don't know, he just yells at the crowd. Very bizarre kind of booking with this one as well, but I do think that Show Off hold it down. He's been on the brand for a while, makes up for some of the pulverized mistakes, because even though that was a terrible bar, Show Off's career is really better than that. Like, he's not as looked down upon as he has been lately. He's fought with top-tier competition and been good before. So for that, I have Show Off clearing this battle. Next up, we have O-Red versus Active. And this is finally, kind of getting more into the closure direction of the actual, the grudge matches coming together. And this is actually one of those, obviously, Active and O-Red was booked before. O-Red backed out, seemingly at the time we thought for URL. And I honestly didn't think he'd come back to the platform, but he's now signed with URL, and this was one of his obligations that he has to finish before going into his new contract with him. So he is battling Active here, and I do have O-Red 2-1 clear, if not 30. I could see... Active to me is just, I do think he's actually getting a little bit better. Him and Danny had a pretty good battle, I can't lie. But Danny kind of has good battles with all types of people. Doesn't necessarily move the needle completely. I'm sorry to say that. I might come off wrong, but Danny, obviously, we know at the wide, the man's battled a little slap. So I've seen guys that have actually had a pretty decent showing with Danny and never broke to that next level. And I think Active may be one of those guys. He did kill True Theory for the most part on the Riot, on the GTX card. But that battle, I wasn't really a fan of that battle, even in a win. A little bit of OBC. Obviously, he's got the bully ball kind of nature to his style, but that can only get you so far if the content doesn't come behind it. I think he's a decent rapper, but we're talking about O-Red here, who really pens great shit. Obviously, Active has said some things that he would have done to O-Red if he saw him. I'm sure O-Red will have some fun flips on that. Hopefully, this battle stays in the confines of just battling. If they fight, it means nothing. Event shutdown, whatever. What do we gain from that? Why do we book this in the first place if that happened? All types of silliness. So, would really like to see this, keep it clean. And I have O-Red winning this one fairly clear. Just a skill gap, in my opinion. And that gets into Oops versus Real Deal, which I actually think is interesting, mostly to see what Real Deal does. Real Deal, king of the dot champion, but has always been a well-respected angler. Has some of the best angles that have went down on URL. little dramatic to say that, but he had some very great angle showings on URL. I think his battle versus B Magic and his body bag versus Snow are some of the best examples of that. Obviously, King of the Dot champion, and now here on RBE versus Oops, making his return. Someone else that kind of was, obviously, was RBE talents where he came up from. Tried to see if the grass was greener elsewhere. It was not, and he's back. I definitely think Oops is decent. Kind of lives off that daylight performance, really talks about it a lot. I don't think he ever met up to that again, those early stages. Oh, Red when he lost, but he was choking, and then the daylight battle. Choking is still an issue with him, but obviously he has a little political lane. I'm sure that he'll have some bars about that. Hopefully not too many, because I think the people are kind of tired of hearing that angle and content beat down. But still think that Oops is decent, but I think Real Deal's another level. I think he's very creative at picking new angles or doing new flips on angles that we know of, and I think he might have a field day with Oops. Similar in the way that Sharon really got at Oops, I could see Real Deal doing it in a completely different way, but there's just so much material to pick there with the whole politician kind of part of Oops' brand, and I think Real Deal already is more talented, and what he can do with that in angle, maybe adding comedy in there, that leads me to believe that Real Deal will win this battle 2-1 clear, but if it's a 30, I would not be surprised. So then now on to the last two battles of the night, the big ones for me that I like. Ill Will versus 40 Bars, first one to speak on. It doesn't really fit the closure theme, but when you have top tier versus top tier work on a big card, really not mad at it. And some of these battles I feel like didn't fit the theme and like kind of random-ish and just a lot of weird ways. This one, no, that doesn't have to close your backstory, but Ill Will 40, the talent books itself. So I'm definitely not mad at it. Both kind of needing of bounce back battles. Obviously, 40 just had her kind of double choke situation after beating Chirac and having really a good start to the year, beating QB as well. She's went on to lose to Fonz on prom night and then choked and lost in really, really bad fashion to C3 for the Chrome 23 tournament. She did get to talk to, I was able to ask her in the Champion Executive Suite, which I'm a part of for Champion Gold. I was able to speak to her, and she said that the Ill Will battle has been locked in for at least a few months. I believe since September, she said. So she's got a lot of prep time for this. I don't think that prep will be the same issue here, and she knows she's in need of a bounce-back performance. Great work rate against the men, while on the flip side, Ill Will, neither of them have had like a bad year, but I think both of them had a down year for their standards, and Ill Will definitely fits into that. Losing 30 to Rosenberg-Ross, something we just didn't expect. The Reed battle, I have him losing. That's a really good debatable battle, so I'm definitely not counting it against him, but I did have him losing to Reed. I did have him definitely lost to Rosenberg. And then the head ice battle, I have him winning. That people have called debatable. I kind of comfortably give Ill Will that battle. But overall, it's looking like no clear wins by consensus. And then even a really bad loss there to someone that we pretty much know that Ill Will is better than for the most part. Shout out to Rose, think he's very talented, but obviously Ill Will is a legend, a super, legend here, one of the better battle rappers of all time, in my opinion. And I think he comes back and shows that. Stage, RBE, I expect a really good 40. I expect a performance that 40 can be proud of and that we will be a fan of, but I think that Ill Will is just going to show in this particular scenario, he's more built for this. Stage type of situation, obviously on the comeback. This is kind of his home league, and I think he can right up to 40 standard, or at least a little bit below, and that's the one thing that 40 could pride yourself on. So if he can narrow the gap in that, and then have the gap in comedy, stage presence, a few other things, performance, I believe Ill Will gets this battle 2-1 clear. But, one of the better battles of the night and a good showing from 40. And that leaves the main event, Big K versus A-Ward. A-Ward, a lot of people got A-Ward for sure winning this battle. I've obviously talked about how much I've liked A-Ward the last few years, how much he's impressed me as being one of, in my opinion, the 5 best active battle rappers alive right now. Consistency, great performance against top-tier competition, performance rate against top-tier competition, clear wins, replayable battles, blase. Big K, as of recent, has not had his best year. Not that he's even lost a lot of battles, but competition and battles versus J-Mill and 40 Cal. Reed Dallas should have been a good battle. It was booked on super 3-4 days prep. But either way, none of those are extremely rewatchable. J-Mills is probably the best of the bunch, but overall, it's K in that 60 to 70%, kind of on his 2 minutes on the dot type of stuff. But I do have Big K winning this battle. I'm picking the underdog in this battle. the dog as the underdog in this battle. I just believe that this is a grudge match. This is definitely a grudge match. Fits the card. It's why it's the main event. And I think that Big K has become much more of an angler than just a pure puncher. I think some of the pure punching will be in there, but he is comedy and he knows how to make kind of brands turn in on themselves. And I think that while the Christianity angle has been done over and can be done really lazy most of the time, I think K might have a unique take on it. I think he's going to have some unique approaches because he really doesn't like A-Ward going right at him. I think you get that ill will JC type of Big K. Expect a great Ward performance and a very debatable battle. My battle of the night pick, but I do have Big K on a 2-1 edge. And that is my full, little RBE update wrap up here. I saw the Jay Breed got at me in my comments, what I'm saying, talking about getting the Bricks reviews done. So shout out to you, man. Thought you had a great performance. And overall, planned on doing these. There's still some Bricks performances that I haven't dropped. I want to see if Zay and Swave went down. I know, obviously, Reed and Remedy didn't go down. So I don't know how many of the battles for sure did or didn't go down, but I really want to see what Swave and Zay did. Shout out to Zay, Charlotte, hometown. But between that and Closure 2, definitely had to do an overview here of what RB's got going on. Hopefully they have another big card or two planned on the first half of 2023. I know there's been all types of stuff, legal stuff going on, this and that. So even if I complain a little bit about the matchups here, sometimes you're making the best with the things that are in your immediate vicinity. I definitely like some of the matchups here. And really I'm looking forward to particular performances. I really want to see what Real Deal has. I really want to see what O-Red has. And then obviously Big K and Ward's a battle I'm very bought into, as well as 40 bars and ill will. So even if there's two battles in there, I don't necessarily, have the best feelings towards. It doesn't matter. There's still a lot here to pick from, and I think it's going to be a pretty solid card overall. And the Bricks, for the most part, looks like they got the better half of the Blood, Sweat, and Tears card, which is what you want to see when you have that rookies versus vets type of theme, is you want to see the rookies take that opportunity and shoot off. So shout out to everything RB's got going on, and I can't wait to see how they close 2022. And with all that being said, it's been J Smo Reviews again, y'all, and I'm going to catch you on the next one. Peace.